We'll start with Emmett. We've talked about how with each outing he seems to be progressing in the right direction. Really outside of those 2 home runs, what were you seeing from him in this one today?
I thought he was really good. Certainly deserved better. The fastball was good, slider was good, used a curveball, minimized hits. And fortunately, Troy got him for a homer, and then Arenado in that last inning with the breaking ball. But again, I thought he pitched really well.
When you look at the offense, then just unable to give him the run support, what do you think was missing from that group tonight?
I don't know. I thought Rodriguez threw the baseball well. Shohei had some hits. I thought the center fielder made a difference tonight, Barossa. I thought he made some really nice plays on some, hard hit balls at him. But outside of that, he pitched a nice game. But yeah, the couple plays in center field were kind of big plays right there. And, then you get Marte, hitting a 2-run homer with 2 outs. That was obviously a big play too. But I think ultimately, they just got hits when they needed to.
What do you think allowed Emmett to hold his velo better tonight?
I don't know. I think that he's been working really hard on his mechanics, his delivery. And with guys like that, sometimes it's a small tweak. I don't know what the cue is, but, the last couple, it's been really good.
When you see not only him, but, Roki and Wrobleski also these past couple of days, take a similar step forward, what does that say about the work that they're putting in?
Each of those guys is doing a great job. They're seizing the opportunity, and Mark, Connor are doing a great job with the starters, and getting those guys to, like I said earlier today, race the floor, and they're doing a great job. I think the catchers, both those guys, Will and Dalton, are doing a really nice job with them as well. So again, regardless of what guy we have starting, I feel like we're going to prevent runs.
In general has been one of the best in baseball for the last month. How much of that is seeing guys take advantage of the 6-man rotation and the extra rest day?
I think it's part of it. I think that, giving those guys, a good amount of recovery time, I think is beneficial. And it's also a luxury that we have because we have 6 really good starters that we can kind of, give those guys that optimal rest. And to their credit, they're preparing, and each time, they feel like they're chomping at the bit to get going. And it's nice that I feel like I can push them a little bit more, and they're all recharged.
Maybe kind of on tilt with the ABS challenges that one at that.
He was, he was 2 out of 3. Unfortunately, we didn't get that last one, but yeah, he knows the strike zone. He really does, and I thought they were good challenges. Obviously, the results were good. It was kind of a fun little, reprieve, I guess.
The Marte home run for Jack Dreyer, did you just think that was kind of bad location, or what did you see with that pitch?
He's just really good versus left-handed pitching, and got ahead 0-1, and then just didn't get the slider low enough, or breaking ball, whatever it was, and he's dangerous. Even with the guy on first base, he's pretty, dangerous at the plate.
With the place in center field, is there any sort of compounding effect when you're like, I'm hitting it hard and just it won't fall?
I don't think with those 2 guys in particular. I think Will unflappable, and I think with Andy, I think he's in a good spot. But it certainly, changes the complexion of the inning, and that could have been a difference maker. But I think as far as kind of pressing or I needed that hit, I don't think that's the case.
Well, I know outside of the 2 home runs to close out your outing, can you look at this one as a positive outside of that and just how well you were executing your pitches, the velocity being back up, and overall just getting through 6, getting into the 7th inning?
Yeah, I think there's definitely some positives to take. We've been working really hard on the delivery, so I think that showed. Execution probably wasn't as good as it should have been, but I think the stuff being a little better helped me get through that. But yeah, other than the 2 homers, a couple I wanted back.
After your last outing, you had said that you had felt that you found kind of either some cues or things you were working through that would lead to the velocity getting back to where you want it to be. What do you think that was that's now led to the results that you had today?
I think it's honestly just trying to relax early and throw harder later in my delivery. I think, before I was getting a little too tense. And yeah, I think that's something the coaches mentioned to me, and it's a bunch of other things too. But yeah, we've been working hard on it.
What are you doing right when you were set down 15 out of 16?
Sorry.
You sit down 15 out of 16 at one point. What were you doing right?
Yeah, I think just keeping him off balance. Will was calling a great game out there. Yeah, defense made some great plays behind me too. Obviously wasn't, punching out everybody, but yeah, trying to just keep him off balance for sure.
Do you think with the mechanical changes you made in your delivery, I know it's been something you've been working towards, do you think that unlocking the velo feels sustainable?
I think so, definitely. Yeah, no, I feel like we know, what to work on now, and we know what works and what doesn't a little better, so it's good to know.
How does that clarity feel after, some ups and downs?
Feels good. It's a little bittersweet with the way, my outing ended today and giving up the lead, but yeah, I think it's definitely a positive to take.
How much of
Is it kind of like smaller tweaks that maybe has been unlocking something to you rather than like a bigger overhaul?
Maybe, yeah. I think, it's a few different things for sure. I can't just all put it into one, but like I said, like being a little more relaxed early and not trying to, do too much, throw hard earlier in my delivery. But yeah, feeling good about it.
first pitch slider to Arenado just in a bad spot, or did you maybe speed up his bat with that pitch?
Yeah, I mean, I showed him a lot of sliders, a couple at bats before that. He's, he can adjust, but I thought, slider was a good pitch there. Didn't really get it to the spot. Wanted for sure to get it more glove side and maybe a little more down, but yeah, he put a good swing on it.
Hello and welcome to Access SportsNet Dodgers, brought to you by Mercury Insurance. John Hartung, Jerry Hairston Jr., Adrian Gonzalez. For the third straight road series, the Dodgers dropped the series opener, and in all three games, the offense completely non-existent. You go back to San Diego, they were shut out by the Padres 1-0, and then they go to Milwaukee. The first game, they scored just one run, and tonight just one run. Another just rough way to start a series, Jerry. Now, they bounced back in both of those previous series. They'll have to do the same here, and it was a tough night for Emmett Sheehan. He pitched well, but gave up 2 solo homers.
Yeah, I think that's the story. Emmett Sheehan gave us a chance to win a ball game if we gave him some runs. He really pitched well, provided length. Unfortunately, the story was the lack of offense for the Dodgers. But Emmett Sheehan really had a lot of stuff going here. Listen, Troy hunts the fastball here. He's a young guy. His first career big league home run. Congratulations to him. Ties the ball game at 1 because at this time, Emmett Sheehan was on cruise control. Certainly does not want to walk Troy. And then here, a slider that is our half credit, Arenado. He goes out there and gets it, and he's able to backspin that baseball for a home run. Emmett definitely deserved a better fate.
Emmett threw a great game, 6 1/3 innings. Just those 2 home runs right there, but he threw incredibly well, gave him length like we talked about in the pregame. And, we gave up a couple more runs in the bottom of the 8th there with this Ketel Marte home run. Great swing for Marte right there, looking for that slider, it seemed like, and they didn't miss that pitch right there. But really, it just came down to the Dodgers offense not being great today and just never really finding any rhythm offensively. Just second inning, we got a couple runners out there, scored a run, but that was it.
Yeah. Tough to call them highlights, but let's show you what happened on this Monday night in Arizona. Final now 38-22 on the season. Emmett Sheehan, tough luck loss. He drops to 3-2, gave up just 2 runs on 3 hits over 6 1/3. He had 3 strikeouts. Shohei goes 3 for 4 with a double, and Miguel Rojas went 1 for 2. Here's what's coming up on the Dodgers calendar. 4-game series with the D-backs runs through Thursday, all of them at 6:30 start times. Then the Dodgers come right back home to host the Freeway Series. 3 games with the Angels this weekend, all of them right here on Sportsnet LA. Shohei Ohtani had 3 of the Dodgers' 6 hits tonight, but they dropped Game 1 in Arizona, 4-1 the final. We'll hear from Emmett Sheehan and Dave Roberts coming up.
He's trying to go around, tagged out.
Dodgers lose 4-1 in Arizona. Let's hear from Dave Roberts right now. He's speaking with Kirsten Watson in the media.
Well, Dave, we'll start with Emmett Sheehan. We've talked about how with each outing he seems to be progressing in the right direction. Really outside of those 2 home runs, what were you seeing from him in this one today?
I thought he was really good. Certainly deserved better. The fastball was good, slider was good, used a curveball, minimized hits. And fortunately, Troy got him for a homer, and then Arenado in that last inning with the breaking ball. But again, I thought he pitched really well.
When you look at the offense, then just unable to give him the run support, what do you think was missing from that group tonight?
I don't know. I thought Rodriguez threw the baseball well. Shohei had some hits. I thought the center fielder made a difference tonight, Barossa. I thought he made some really nice plays on some hard hit balls at him. But outside of that, we pitched a nice game. But yeah, I mean, the couple plays in center field were kind of big plays right there. And, then you get Marte, hitting a 2-run homer with 2 outs. That was obviously a big play too. But I think ultimately, they just got hits when they needed to.
What do you think allowed Emmett to hold his velo better tonight?
I don't know. I think that he's been working really hard on his mechanics, his delivery. And with guys like that, sometimes it's a small tweak. I don't know what the cue is, but, the last couple, it's been really good.
When you see not only him, but, Roki and Wrobleski also these past couple days, take a similar step forward, what does that say about the work that they're putting in?
Each of those guys is doing a great job. They're seizing the opportunity, and Mark, Connor are doing a great job with the starters, and getting those guys to, like I said earlier today, race the floor, and they're doing a great job. I think the catchers, both those guys, Will and Dalton, are doing a really nice job with them as well. So again, regardless of what guy we have starting, I feel like we're going to prevent runs.
In general has been one of the best in baseball for the last month. How much of that is seeing guys take advantage of the 6-man rotation and the extra rest day?
I think it's part of it. I think that, giving those guys, a good amount of recovery time, I think is beneficial. And it's also a luxury that we have because we have 6 really good starters that we can kind of, give those guys that optimal rest. And to their credit, they're preparing, and each time, they feel like they're chomping at the bit to get going. And it's nice that I feel like I can push them a little bit more, and they're all recharged.
Tough luck night for Emmett Sheehan, allowing just 3 hits, but 2 of them left the ballpark. We will hear from Sheehan coming up.
Dave, when you look at just the month of May, and especially in that second half, the starting pitching is what set the tone and ultimately put you guys in position to have a very successful month of May. What is it about just the rotation right now that you're seeing that's allowing them to put your team in the group in a space to be successful?
I think it's more of, probably the back half of the guys. I think that, to see what Robo's done, to see what Roki's done, to see what Emmett's done, I think for me we've raised the floor on the starting pitching, and I think that the top end guys are kind of who they are, which is great. But I think that every night I feel like we really have a good chance to win because of the starting pitcher. And so I think, again, short answer, I think that we've raised the floor on the starting pitching.
You mentioned Emmett Sheehan in that one. With what he was able to do in his last outing, how he fought to stay in there after the comeback, or what did you just learn about him?
I think we're still learning. I think that there's certain things that about a player that you kind of know, but you don't really know until you see it in action and see some adversities and how they respond. So I think that with Emmett, he's responded to some adversities. He's responding to now feeling better, the uptick in velocity. So this whole kind of growth for Emmett has been fantastic to see.
Have you seen signs of Will Smith starting to hit the fastball better than he was, for the majority of the season?
I do. I really do. I think he's in a much better spot physically, mechanically, and I want to be clear that hitting the fastball is more of not pulling the fastball. It's just moving it forward to the big part of the field, which I believe is his strength. So it's not about just pulling it. It's about getting the pitch and hitting it to where his strength is, and I do think that he's gotten a lot better at that, yeah.
How much of that is the leg kick? A lot of guys that have a leg kick, obviously a big timing mechanism. Is the leg kick being affected by whatever he's feeling being a catcher every day?
I don't know. I think that's probably a better thing for the hitting guys and Will to speak to. I do think that, intentionally just trying to manage his workload, keeping him fresh. Obviously, I think we have a nice, battery mate in Dalton. Will's obviously going to always want to play more, but I think that kind of keeping him fresh is a good